Let's go. More Aaron Barnett.
The producers of the show called any resemblance utter nonsense.
Not true, not at all what they said. They said the controversy was utter nonsense. The controversy generated by the media. We're talking about Aaron Barnett's fake reporting from CNN.
This is just the only reason why I'm tolerating this is because I don't, the guys came into my office yesterday. You demanded an apology. I don't want an apology. Here's what I want. I want a statement from CNN that says this is the kind of journalism that we believe is the future for CNN, or this is such slanderous journalism here that makes your apology doesn't mean anything to me. I don't really care about you, but I want them to go on the record. Is this their style of journalism?
Is this what you stand by? This is what you feel good about.
This is what you're going for.
Really, prime time on CNN. This is what you want out every night.
Yeah, and remember, this isn't Piers Morgan. We get what Piers Morgan is. This is journalism.
Right, this supposed journalism. So let's keep going with the report.
And today, Beck took to Twitter again. And not to clarify.
No.
He said this.
That is a clarification.
Media, relax. Actor has been in similar roles before. Funny, nothing more. For different reasons, The Bible is one of my fave shows.
Stop for a second.
Keep watching.
Why isn't that a clarification? It's exactly what you're saying is my point was not that this was done intentionally by
I'm not trying to compare.
I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is clarification, because what they were doing was not the comparison. They were trying to make it look like Mark Burnett chose this actor. No, this actor has played him before.
Right, that was the point.
That's the point. So it is not irrelevant.
He's experienced in this role and does a good job in this role. Therefore, that's why I said it. It was a clarification.
She's about to twist that point that you were making.
Yeah,
also.
Of course she is.
Actor has been in similar roles before. In the world of Glenn Beck, that means he's definitely a ringer for the president.
What? Stop.
No,
what?
No, that's when
idiot.
Who's going to play Satan? Do we have anybody to play Satan? Well, we've got a lot of people. This guy played Satan. This guy's played him like 6 times. He's really good he's really spooky looking. Okay, go ahead. Bring him on in. That's what that means.
That's what that means.
Nobody went out in the production team and said, who can we get to look just like the president?
Right.
That's what that means in the world of thinking people who don't have an agenda. That's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Because this isn't the first time he's made that comparison.
Stop for a second.
Now,
so up till now,
watch this.
What we have so far, up till now, is just her twisting the facts, making bad points, trying to make a controversy to get some ratings for a show which is miserably failing and losing to reruns of Chris Matthews every night. We get that, okay?
No, but not losing, but doubling,
getting absolutely destroyed.
Hammered.
Reruns of Chris Matthews. Twice the amount of ratings.
I think RuPaul is like tripling her.
I will say, by the way, that she lost by 170,000 to Jane Velez Mitchell the other night.
And whoever that is.
Yes,
Nobody even
whoever
knows who
exactly.
she is.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so, but the point is, up till now, she's just making terrible points.
Now
and
she's
an
about
idiot.
to full frontal lie.
Right, now she's about to go into, and this is a package of Glenn supposedly saying, as she said in her on her personal Twitter account, Glenn Beck has an ugly history of calling the president Satan. This is evidence of Glenn having an ugly history of calling the president Satan. Here's the montage.
Let me play devil's advocate, and may mean that literally, and argue for the president here.
Okay, that is a joke.
That's clearly
Quite
a joke.
clearly an aside.
I've
just
said that
joking.
I've said that about many people.
Yes, you have. Let's go through this whole entire montage. We're not going to have time to go through each point here. Let's go through all the entire montage, and then you will not believe the way she's edited this.
Some of the
listen to it.
Book of Revelation crazies out there actually believe that Barack Obama is the Antichrist.
Is it possible that Barack Obama is the Antichrist?
There are people, and they said this about Bill Clinton, that actually believe he might be the Antichrist. The government is acting in the role of Lucifer. Odds that Barack Obama is the Antichrist.
This is incredible.
There are people.
Okay, stop.
This is
At least
really.
Glenn Beck's not alone.
This is really incredible because, first of all of these clips are from their archives. These are not. These are not. These are their archived clips from my show that I was doing on CNN 5 years ago. So to get these clips, they went to their archives. So they have full transcripts. They know exactly what it is.
They know the sentences before these clips, and they know the sentences after them. They
also can just look through in my personnel file and see if I was ever had a problem calling him the Antichrist ever, because, I mean, if it was such a problem, you'd think CNN, who's now reporting on the problem, would have written me up for the problem.
And of course, their point is, what is Erin Burnett's point here as she shows 5 or 6 clips? And we found the vast majority of them. What's her point? Her point is you're doing this so often that it's a serious problem, maybe an obsession. She's saying that you're doing it all the time.
Okay.
To illustrate this, let's show where she got these clips from.
Okay, now, this is really important. This is not about me or us or anything else. This is to show you how easily it is to fool people with creative editing. If you thought NBC was bad with creative editing, wait until we show you this. This, again, is not about us. This is really about who can you trust to tell you the truth. All right, we're showing you how the media edits things. And this is probably, I mean, we've done this before with MSNBC when they were taking on Mitt Romney, and it was pretty stunning. But this is even more stunning, I think, because before we were saying, you got to cut here and put them together. This is actually cut and lift out, slide something new in, move this other piece that you just cut out, move it towards the end. This is Goebbels stuff, quite honestly. This is propaganda as an art form in the name of news.
And that reference will make sense to you in a few moments when we go into the rest of her audio. But first, remember what she's trying to create here. The fact that Glenn Beck has an ugly history of calling the president Satan. This happens all the time. Look at all the clips we found. They're trying to show a giant pattern of behavior with her clips. We found almost all of them. Let's start with this is what Erin Burnett played from Glenn, and then we'll give you the full context.
There are people, and they said this about Bill Clinton, that actually believe he might be the Antichrist.
Okay. Now, here is the full context of that same quote. Go ahead. This is an interview, by the way, with John Hagee, who at the time was being accused of thinking the president was the Antichrist, and they were trying to tie him to John McCain.
The reason why I talked about this story is because this story was out that John McCain was trying to say that maybe he's the Antichrist and everything else. And so I had John Hagee on to answer it.
And to be fair, CNN, the network Erin Burnett is on, also reported about the same type of controversy during the election. It was talked about routinely.
Yep.
You had Hagee on to make sure you got him on the record on this. Here's the
Let me ask you, and this is, I guess I get so much email on this, and I think a lot of people do, and I've only got a couple of seconds. Then they say, Glenn, you in the media, you've got to wake up. Barack Obama's making people faint and cry and everything else, and he's drawing people in. And there are people, and they said this about Bill Clinton, that actually believe he might be the Antichrist.
Stop.
Odds that Barack Obama is the Antichrist.
Okay, that is, so you're mocking the concept of it.
Clearly mocked.
Okay.
Laughing about it.
And I'm trying to make a point that he is not. You've got to go on the record here clearly, so anybody, because he has credibility. He is the self-professed end times expert. I mean, he's one of them.
Now, and then the next words, the response from John Hagee, which you didn't hear in the Erin Burnett setup.
No chance.
Okay.
No chance.
No chance.
Now, it's interesting because that's one. So the first clip she played was.
But you notice they put him in that clip, so you do see him because they have made John Hagee. They have so maligned John Hagee that you don't even know who John Hagee is anymore. So you expect him to say, "Oh yes, absolutely, there is a chance." That's why they don't include him saying it, because it's a double smear.
Yeah. Now remember, they're trying to create this idea that Glenn says this all the time. So they used, and are there people, they said this about Bill Clinton, that actually believe he might be the Antichrist. So you see that he's mocking this there. Here's another clip from their montage, a separate clip in their montage. Go ahead, Pat.
Odds that Barack Obama is the Antichrist.
Okay, stop. That's what she played. That you might recognize that as the direct next sentence that you said in the Hagee interview. So what they did there is they took the same interview, 2 consecutive sentences, split it in 2 parts, and separated it in the montage.
And
so
put
it looks
like it was something completely different.
Right, and put something else in between.
So it looks like you said it multiple times when it's just the next sentence.
If I'm not mistaken, there are 2 separate camera shots, too. So it looks like a different time, right. But if you go back and look at it, you'll see I'm wearing the same tie and everything else, because it's the next sentence. But then this is why I say this is propaganda stuff. This is totally smear and slander. They are opening up and making it appear as something that it is absolutely not.
Okay, so here's the full context of that remark.
There are people, and they said this about Bill Clinton, that actually believe he might be the Antichrist.
Clip 1.
Odds that Barack Obama is the Antichrist.
Clip 2.
No chance.
Okay, so you heard that. All right, so again, now they're using that as 2 separate clips. They're trying to say you do this all the time. So what about the next clip? This is a separate clip, again, of you, because you're obsessed with this topic. Here is what you said.
Some of the Book of Revelation crazies out there actually believe that Barack Obama is the Antichrist.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, you're addressing it again. Now,
This was the clip that CNN used with Aaron just a minute
with
ago.
Aaron Barnett. Now, here is the full context of that clip.
I was speaking with evangelical pastor John Hagee. We were heading on into a break, and I asked the self-professed end-of-days expert about the fact that some of the Book of Revelation crazies out there actually believe that Barack Obama is the Antichrist.
I'm not bringing
Here
it.
it is.
Let
me ask you that. And this is.
I'm not bringing it up in a separate deal. I am relating the story the very next day.
Yeah.
Just like
Making the same point.
When news follows a story, and that's what this was at the time. This was a news story. It was in the news cycle, and CNN was reporting on it. CNN, not my show. I was on CNN headline, but CNN proper was also reporting on this story. So the next day, I'm recapping. I talked about it, and they make it look like, again, a separate time I'm bringing it up.
Yeah. Now listen to this. Clip 1 is a sentence about an interview where you're asking somebody about this. Clip 2 is the next sentence in that where they split it to make it look like they had more. Clip 3 is the next day you reviewing the same clip of clip 1 and clip 2. So they have 3 clips of this supposed pattern of behavior that are all the same exact interview.
And here's what they're saying. They're trying to make you believe, and not you, but people who don't know me, believe that this is something that I do all the time. It is complete hogwash.
Yeah.
I don't say this. Look, I've resigned myself to my position in it. While I was on CNN, 4th most admired man in the world between the Pope and Nelson Mandela. Because of what these guys have done to me, I have, and some of the things that I've done to myself, quite honestly. I mean, I've helped them along on a few things. But because of that, and no excuses, because of that, I am absolute mud. My name is mud in so many circles. They just want to make sure that I stay in that box. And quite frankly, so do you, that you stay in this box. And they're teaching you about the movie, the Bible. Remember, this one is not about me. This story is discrediting Mark Barnett and teaching Mark Barnett, you better stay in your little box. Don't you ever make a movie like this again. Don't you ever hang out and talk to people who are anybody but us. Don't you ever do that again. That's what this really is. Now, I don't believe Aaron is part of that. Aaron is, and I say this sincerely, Aaron, I know what it's like to be on the verge of being fired. I know what it's like to have horrible ratings. I've had them. Of course, I haven't had, well, I'm the first.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Well, even in television, I think your best ratings were my worst ratings when I first started doing it 2 months in. But
yeah,
which was
anyway,
the sister station.
I mean it sincerely. It is sad what is happening to you and what you're allowing, and it's hard, and I understand that, and it's. I do understand that, but don't lose yourself.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand this direct lie. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she does.
The producers know what they were doing.
Yeah.
She knows what the producers
and
did.
CNN,
everybody's in this with their eyes wide open.
Absolutely.
It's
Here's
despicable.
Real quick. I just want to add the last part because this is really the important part. She then takes, after all of this propaganda, she then compares me to Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. She then compares me and saying that, you know who else has called him the Antichrist? Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. So she plays Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. And she's saying that to me. Yet, just last week, she asked former First Lady Laura Bush if we should not just give Mahmoud Ahmadinejad a pass on anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitic, anti-American. Does the U.S. need to accept that when we want to make change?
What do we need to accept? Perhaps this: the Zionist regime and the Zionists are a cancerous tumor. Even if the Zionists remain on one span of the land of Palestine, is dangerous because they will come to have a legal and official government. Possibly that one.
Is that what we should accept?
Is that what we should accept? Should we accept Zionism is the modern times plight of the human society? And when we meet the European politicians and they say they speak transparently about everything, but they refrain from talking about the Zionist regime, which proves that Israel is the axis of unity in the world's hegemonic powers? Or is it perhaps that we should accept Israel is nothing more than a mosquito which cannot see the broad horizon of the Iranian nation? Or should we accept the Zionist regime's establishment was based on numerous depiction and lies of the biggest lies was the Holocaust?
So
Anti-Semitic, anti-American. Does the U.S. need to accept that when we want to make change?
She compares me to Mahmoud Ahmadinejad when she's talking to Laura Bush a week ago. She says, maybe we should just accept this. And she's willing to accept those things for change. But me making a comparison of separated by birth is a huge scandal.
Yeah, it's bad for you to compare the appearance of an actor and the president, but it's okay for her to say you're the same as a vicious, brutal, murdering dictator.
Right. Now listen,
that's okay.
Here's the thing. I want you to know the tricks of the trade. I wouldn't have believed television was this way. In fact, I'm on record saying for a very long time, up until I started working at CNN, that I don't believe that people, the media, they're colluding or they know really what's going on. I still do not believe that the people in the media are colluding in the ways that everybody thinks. They have very small circle of friends. They are very bigoted and small-minded people that are never forced to look at their own point of view and are never held to task. Never. And so they are allowed the opportunity to become small-minded and bigoted. Anything outside of their worldview or their Park Avenue or their Central Park West worldview is just, it doesn't exist. It's not worthy of anything. And I would not have believed, and that's as far as I went, until I saw the editing of tape from MSNBC during the election. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it because I know how to edit things. Pat and I used to edit things all the time when we were doing comedy radio shows. And, you can edit things to make them sound funny. And so I know what it takes to edit. And I know how you have to do it intentionally and everything else. And for news to do that is one thing. And we know what we have in MSNBC. But apparently we now have this at CNN. And while people have joked, it's the Clinton News Network, et cetera, et cetera. No. This is different. This is different. When you can slander someone and you can obviously make edits, you cannot convince me or any thinking jury that you did this unintentionally, that you didn't know what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. I don't need an apology from them. Maybe we let the courts decide. I don't need an apology from them. What I'm asking CNN for, and I know some of the good people at the top of CNN, what I'm asking is this what America should now expect from your journalists, not your opinion people, your journalists? Is this the kind of news? I'm irrelevant, quite honestly, but what's going to make you stop editing other people's tapes? If you can just is there a line? Is there a rank of people that you can edit and smear and slander, and you stop when it's really important? And who in your company decides who you can slander and who you can't? I'd like a statement, either rejecting this kind of journalism or letting the American people know. That's what CNN is now going to do because apparently they're desperate for ratings.
Obama is a Muslim.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And he kept saying it over and over.
Obama is a Muslim.
No.
Obama is a Muslim. Obama is a Muslim.
You're
Remember
just pushing
that?
the button.
Remember that?
Can
when
we
he
hear
just
it in
kept
context?
Saying it. Well,
Can we hear it
the
in
whole context? Yeah, it's worse.
As for the Muslim thing, I've never said Obama is a Muslim. I don't know people who say that he's a Muslim.
Right there.
Pull that, Aaron.
You never say it. You say it.
This is Glenn.